This is a giant magma cube, and inside of it is one of the hardest prisons which I am going to be attempting to escape. I spawned in a large bedrock room with lava underneath me. I could see another room across from me, but it was too far for me to reach. So I looked around for items and ended up finding 2 pieces of string, and when I looked up, I found a dropper, a floating anvil, and a hole with TNT in it. I decided to break the string that was holding up the anvil, and the anvil fell down, so I was able to use it to reach the dropper that was beside it. Inside of the dropper, there was a blast protection 4 diamond chestplate and a golden apple. I looked around some more, and I ended up finding a dropper underneath the platform I was on. The dropper contained 3 sticks, a flame book, and an arrow. Now I had the materials to craft a flame bow, but I didn't have a crafting table. So I looked around and ended up finding a crafting table behind the dropper. I crafted the bow and applied flame to it using the anvil since I conveniently had 69 levels. Now I had a golden apple, a flame bow, and an arrow to help me get across. These items might not be able to get me across on their own, but there was still a block of TNT in the roof. If I shoot the TNT with the flame bow, it will light and the TNT will fall down and I can use it to TNT jump. So I ate the golden apple and dropped the TNT down in front of me. I was barely able to survive, and if I hadn't eaten the golden apple and had the blast prot chestplate, it would have been over. So I healed back up and examined the next room. I was on a basalt island with a room across from me that was 1 block too far to jump. There was also a massive fall beneath me that I had no way of surviving. So I went back into the hallway and collected the weeping vines coming from the roof, and I also found 2 more pieces of string beneath them. You might have noticed that the weeping vines were placed on the roof, which means I could use them to get to the next room. The problem was I didn't have enough of them to get across. I could have waited for them to grow, but I decided to look around since I hadn't finished exploring this room yet. I ended up seeing a dropper underneath the basalt, so I broke down and the dropper contained 2 more weeping vines. Now I had enough vines to make it across, so I placed the weeping vines on the roof and I jumped to the next room. In the next room, there was a dropper in one corner, a crafting table in the other, a floating block, and a hole in the roof and on the wall. I checked to see what was in the dropper and I found 4 prismarine shards and 4 pieces of bamboo. I immediately realized I could craft a prismarine block, and I used it to get a better look at the floating block and the hole in the wall. There was a gold pressure plate at the back of the hole, and there was an item frame with a stick on top of the floating block. Now that I had this stick, I turned the bamboo into sticks and I crafted a fishing rod. I used the fishing rod to fish the pressure plate inside of the hole, and when I did that, a potion of levitation dropped from the hole in the roof. I grabbed my crafting table and checked the rest of the room one more time, and since the hole in the roof was the only place that I hadn't been, I used the potion to go up the hole. There was a dropper on the way up, but I checked it and it was completely empty. In this room there was a lava pool on the floor with flowing lava 1 block higher in the middle. I could also see a boat on the other side of the lava, and that was it. I realized I could use my crafting table to cross this lava, but I decided to check the lava first because it made no sense for the lava to be here. I ended up finding a dropper with a blue ice block in it, so I decided the crafting table would be more useful, and I used the blue ice to cross the lava. I made a mistake and didn't realize I wouldn't be able to jump because the roof was 2 blocks high and I almost died in the lava. I waited for my health to regen and I looked around. The only thing I was able to see was the boat and a 1 block high gap leading to another room. So I used the fishing rod to fish the boat towards me and used the boat to go under the gap. In the next room there was a donkey, a chest in the wall, a platform with a hole above it, and an exit at the top of the room. I moved towards the crafting table and there was also a chest in front of it. The chest contained 9 bone meal, 9 netherwort, and 9 wheat. I immediately knew what to do with these blocks and I crafted a bone block, a netherwort block, and a hay bale. Next I used those blocks to staircase up to the platform, and when I thought I would make it, I was actually 1 block short. I tried breaking the chest and fishing it towards me, but that didn't work. But that was when I noticed something. There was a donkey in the room and its name was Joe. The name was irrelevant, and what I noticed was that the donkey was carrying a chest. So I did what had to be done and I used the fishing rod to pull the chest towards me, and the donkey also dropped a saddle. Now I was able to use the chest as the final block to go up the platform. First I checked the hole above the platform and I found a fire resistance arrow and an item frame. Next I checked the exit hole and I saw a block of snow holding up a block of sand. But this was not a normal block of snow, it was actually powdered snow. This meant that if I shot it with my flame bow, the flame arrow would melt the snow and the sand would come falling down. So since it was my only option, I used the normal arrow I had from the first room to break the powdered snow. When the sand fell down, lava followed it, and now I knew where to go. So I shot myself with the fire resistance arrow and I climbed up the lava to the next room. I was in a box with a 1 block gap, and through the gap I could see 2 striders and 2 droppers. I was unable to reach one of the droppers, but I could reach the other one and I found 4 magma cream inside of it, and that was it. At this point I saw nothing else in the room, so I quickly went back down the lava to see if I missed anything. I broke the sand and there was nothing under the lava, so at this point I had to swim back up because my fire resistance was running out. There was nothing else in this room, and I had no items to go through a 1-block gap, so I was stuck. But then I realized what I could do with the saddle, and it all made sense. If I place the saddle on one of the striders, I can then ride the strider and teleport through the gap. So I did that, and I found out both of the striders were also named Joe. Why is everyone named Joe? Anyways, I checked the other dropper I couldn't reach, and there was more magma cream, so now I had 12 magma cream. The only thing I could make was magma blocks, so I crafted 3 of them. I still needed 4 blocks to get to the top of the room though, so I was still missing something. Unfortunately, I realized I would have to kill Joe because striders drop string and 4 string crafts into wool. So I got 4 string from Joe, and there's no reason to kill Joe too, so I definitely didn't. I used the 4 blocks to build up, and the first thing I saw was a pearl glitch setup. So I turned around and there was a dropper with a pearl inside of it, so I threw my pearl and ended up on the nether roof. There was a chest up here, and it had 13 obsidian, a piece of wool, and a ghast spawn egg inside of it. So I placed my obsidian in the form of a portal, and I spawned the ghast. The ghast ended up lighting the portal for me, and I went back through to the overworld. When I made it to the other side, I could see an exit waiting for me across these lava pools. There was a bunch of gravel and sand laying around, so I broke it all, and it revealed a crafting table. There was also water in the ground and a dropper in the wall, and it contained a stone pickaxe and a piece of bone meal. I needed blocks that weren't gravity blocks to get across, so I made concrete because I already had water to turn it into hardened concrete, and I had a pickaxe as well. I grabbed the crafting table and bridged across using the 8 concrete, and there was one more lava pool that I needed to cross. I already had 2 blocks I could use to get across, so I just placed them so I could jump across. Before I left, I checked this chest in the wall and found a punch 2 book and a stack of arrows. I wonder what that could have been used for. Next, I jumped across the lava and got in this boat placed on the outside to escape the prison.